Hello everybody, welcome back. If you're new to the group, each week Molly and I present a word for contemplation and discussion. This word is designed to be a guide for your self-understanding and self-awareness, and we hope that you're taking some time to journal or meditate or discuss this word in your life each week. This week's word is inflation. And we've talked a lot about inflation, Molly and I've given this word a lot of thought because it has kind of two general ideas. One being economy-based thoughts about inflation, so the value of a dollar and how it becomes less and less valuable over time. It takes more money to buy things over time. It's a natural part of a free market economy. And the other side of inflation, the side that I really want to talk about, is the psychological side of it. So self-inflation, so being puffed up with your own importance. And this discussion we had last week on flattery was really, really interesting. It was just like I kind of imagined. It was very polarizing. So people either really liked flattery, really liked the feeling or the engagement or the activity, and other people really, really didn't like it. So lots of different opinions on it, very polarizing word or topic. And as Molly and I were discussing it this week, after I did some contemplation and meditation on inflation, and we discussed that the impact of how interesting that was to watch people have that interaction and reaction to flattery, and really what that means when it comes to this concept of inflation. So as we worked through it, my thoughts on inflation are that, and flattery, are that when you are self-inflated, so when you're kind of puffed up with your own importance, so it's like a big ego, you're really sort of exaggerating yourself in any given situation, and sometimes minimizing the contribution or the skill or talent of others. Not always, but mostly when you're puffing up your own self, that underneath that oftentimes are insecurities. So a person who is really overly kind of puffed up with their own ideas and opinions and attitude is very big and positive about it. Sometimes that big inflation is because of an insecurity. And when we looked at flattery and the reaction to that and discussed, like, really, where's that coming from? Why do some people like it? Why do some people not like it, find it so irritating or offensive or manipulative? I really hit on something in that concept, that when flattery is insulting to you, when something nice that someone says to you, whether it's genuine or disingenuous, if that really hits you as an insult or makes you uncomfortable, potentially under that is an insecurity. So I gave the example of like being a housewife. So I'm not great at chores. I'm not great at sort of indoor like chore activities, cleaning, cooking. I'm okay at it. It's not my strong suit. It's not an activity I enjoy. It's definitely something I kind of avoid. And that's okay. I'm okay with that. It works in my marriage, and that's fine between my husband and I. He's a great cook. I do all the outside chores. I do all the yard maintenance and gardening. So with that feeling, if someone were to say to me, oh my gosh, you're such a good cleaner, or you're such an amazing cook, or you were to say something to me like that to me seemed very disingenuous, that I would find that manipulative. I would be like, what do you want? Because I'm not. I felt the same way about, like, I'm not a great speller. If you were all of a sudden to be like, oh my gosh, Cassie, you're a great speller, I'd be like, what? No, I'm actually not a great speller. Like, what's that all about? Or you're a great multitasker. I'm not a great multitasker. Like, what do you want? So if that underlying part of me is maybe one of my weaknesses or insecurities, and I'm getting compliments based on that, that would make me uncomfortable. That would make me feel like you either don't know me, you don't understand me, you don't see me, you want something from me. It comes across very manipulative. But if you're saying something nice to me about being a good listener or being loyal, a loyal friend, or something that I know I have a talent in, I don't mind if it's flattery. It matters less if it's genuine because I know it to be true. I have it inside of me, that strength that I know my talents, I know my weaknesses. And so those words coming from other people, when they're positive, whether they're genuine or not, they hit me in a way that I understand myself. I can use that information to better understand myself. So if you're getting a compliment and you find it insulting, or you find it to be flattery, or it bothers you, or you don't like it, or you can't take that compliment, makes you uncomfortable, you might want to look at what they're complimenting. Is that an insecurity? Is that something that you are outwardly kind of showing people that you're good at, but on the inside you don't feel very good at that thing? I have another example of a teal in my life that really likes to cook and has a thriving business, and she spoke up about flattery and how much a customer was flattering her on her business and her food and how good it made her feel. And she knows that she has these talents. She works on these talents. She produces things all the time in the community, and she gets a lot of positive feedback on it. And so she liked those compliments. She liked that flattery. But if you were to say to her, you're gorgeous, or you're such a sexy woman, that's not really something that she feels comfortable with. She's definitely a hard worker. She's definitely successful, but she's not like a stereotypically feminine woman. And so that kind of compliment or that kind of flattery might bother her. That might be something where she's like, oh yeah, I didn't like that. So it really is important when you're having this experience out in the world to really look at when someone gives you a compliment, when someone's flattering you, that idea that it's genuine or disingenuous might stem from inside. Now, some people use flattery to get something. Sometimes it is a manipulation. But again, if you're doing that to me, if you're saying those things to me, those nice things to me, I really understand my strengths and weaknesses. So even if you're doing that as a manipulation tool, I kind of got your number. I'm on to you. I know that's a weakness. I know that's not something that's real. Or if it's something that is a talent, I'm going to take that. Whether you meant it genuinely or not, I feel good about that part of myself. I feel good about those talents. I feel good about that, who I am in that way. So I think flattery and inflation are really kind of intertwined. That inflation being that puffed up sense of self-importance, being that thing that we do with ourselves to make ourselves feel better, that bigger sort of false shell that we can put out there in the world, being self-inflated or falsely inflated, can oftentimes hide some insecurities. And when someone compliments that big, puffed up, inflated part of us, it can feel like an insult if we know that what's underneath there is really an insecurity. And if you don't know that, that might be something it would be good to look at. That might be a place for self-reflection that could be valuable for you. So I really, as always, love these conversations. I love self-reflection. I enjoy understanding the way people work and how they work and why they work. I love IMR System and the clarity that the colors, the personality types can bring to my life. And I enjoy having this talk with you all every week. So I appreciate you showing up today, and I hope you take some time to contemplate this word, and I'll see you again next week.